starting with the intramembranous ossification, which is what happens in those flat bones. In this case, we have something called an ossification center, and it has a deposit of osteoid tissue inside. And so you can see that here with this first step in this image. There's osteoid tissue that's deposited, and this is going to have osteoblasts. Okay, so you can see that here. So this is osteoid tissue with osteoblasts forming on the inside. Then what happens is that osteoid tissue begins to calcify, so it's going to become hardened, more mineralized, and it begins to trap in those osteocytes. And you can see that here when you get the bone trabeculae. Here's the osteoid tissue, kind of like the blue color. And so it starts to calcify or mineralize around on the outside. And then you get the trabeculae of woven bone, that spongy bone, with the periosteum on the outside. So that's the third step. So as that calcification happens, you get the formation of trabeculae, and then you get the periosteum on the either side of it. And then finally, the space between all the trabeculae that have been formed is filled with the red bone marrow. And so the periosteum is outside of the compact bone. You have the compact bone lining, again, the outsides. So here and here, because remember, these are flat bones, so you're going to get spongy in the middle and compact on the outside. And essentially the oldest bone, because of the way this bone develops, the oldest bone, where the ossification center began, is at the center. And then the youngest bone, or newest, is near the edge. We see this in skulls, like I've been saying, but especially in infants, because this is the beginning of bone development. And if you've ever noticed in infants, newborns, their skull is not completely ossified yet. And so this happens from birth on, the ossification process. And so there's some spaces that happen that are still cartilage, that are called fontanelles. So this here in the middle, the skull plates have not fully ossified together. And so we call that space, or it's not really a space, it's covered by a membrane. It's not ossified yet. We call that a fontanelle. And usually I think by the age of 1, those are pretty well ossified. Intramembranous ossification is not something that you just find in newborns or in infants or young children. It's also important for thickening bones later in life and in remodeling.